Pearlo and Rico and Larry's House of NHL Takes Frolic. And, of course, we're going to talk about the big news that happened a couple days ago. I hadn't been getting around to do a show about it. I did a little live thing all by myself. You can check that out if you want. But we will talk about that later. But there's another news. It's not the only news going on there. But if you check my Twitter feed, you would think it was the only news going on right now. But there's one thing we haven't discussed, Larry and I, and this is Larry, by the way, from Ottawa. No, he's from Winnipeg. He's a Sens fan. Appropriate decision. But he is from Winnipeg, and I'm sure there's a soft spot for Winnipeg in your heart there, right, buddy? Right, Larry?
Number two. Only time I don't cheer for him is when they're playing Ottawa.
All right. So, man, okay. We don't really know what's going on there. It's only been kind of hearsay. You got some pretty good insiders saying that they find it highly unlikely that Hellebuyck will be back, will be in the opening day lineup. And there was some really good talk from some of the best insiders, including Friedman, about Hellebuyck going to Buffalo at the draft. Buffalo wanted them to flip the 4th and the 8th. And I understand why they wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that either. I think their number 4 was pretty much the same as their number 8, the one that they chose. So I totally understand not doing that. But what I was looking at is, and I'll ask you this because I combed it and I only see maybe one team, and Carolina and New Jersey I'm taking out of the equation because they just don't pay that much for goaltenders, although I heard Carolina was in on it, but they would have to take Kotkaniemi back, and that makes sense because they don't like to pay more than 4% of their cap on goaltenders. Yeah. But besides those two, which are, you could make a case that they both could use a Hellebuyck for sure. Who else is out there besides Buffalo? And with that being the case, how long are they going to wait on with Hellebuyck here? Because if he is dissatisfied, do you really want your number 1 coming in and having to play in a city that he already said that? I mean, he didn't do it publicly, so that helps, but is kind of giving the indication he'd like to move on. So what do you think about that situation? What do you think should they hold on? I mean, it's a tough situation for Winnipeg, isn't it?
I don't think he wants to leave Winnipeg. Like he signed here long term. He doesn't want to leave the city. Yeah, he's just not happy with the state of the team now.
That's a for sure. He doesn't want to leave the city.
And Winnipeg didn't really do much, so they're looking at running it back again. So it's going to be another year of being on the bubble. So I understand his frustration. He wants to win, and if you're not bringing in the players to win, then it's time for you to move on. So it's hard for teams. Obviously, Buffalo is the one out there everybody's saying, but my dark horse would be San Jose for it because they got some really good defense this year now, so they filled in some of those holes. You got oh my God, I forgot the name already. Stenberg coming in now, so you got another good forward. I think if you put a Hellebuyck there, San Jose is a playoff team, 100% this year, guaranteed, especially in the division they're in. So if there was a team, I would say that if you want to be competitive the next 5 years and you wanted to go there, I think, and sit on the beach, I'd say San Jose would look pretty good to me too.
Yeah, that was the other team I was thinking too. And the only thing is I know Askarov, when he left, he basically asked to be moved from Nashville because after they signed Saros, he wants to be in number 1. So I don't know how comfortable he would be having a Hellebuyck come in there unless Askarov is part of the deal. I guess that would depend on how confident Askarov is going to be as good as he can be. I think he's had his ups and downs, but I mean, I still think he's probably going to be a high-end goaltender in the league. So it's
I think
possible.
that's the part that's gonna be the hard thing is Winnipeg needs a goalie back, and I don't like Askarov as a guy that you're gonna rely on there. So I think that's why you've heard the rumors where they want Uka Pekka Lekkinen. I can't say his name. Uka Pekka UPL.
Pickle peppers, as Ian from
Pekka
Ice
Pekka
Guys would say.
Pepper. They want him back in the deal, and I don't know if and if they were going to trade him, I think they value him pretty high, so that cuts down on anything else they're going to add to the deal. So in Buffalo, so I don't know.
It all
I think
depends on how you value those goaltenders.
Well,
right?
I value him highly. I've watched him play many times, watching East games, and that guy can move. He's flexible, athletic. I think you just need a good team in front of him to help him out a little bit, because there's when you look at the eye test on goalies, because stats don't really tell you much. You have to look at the eye test. Like if a guy let 5 goals in, you have to sit there. Out of those 5 goals, how many of them were actually stoppable? How much wide did they go in? Like, is it because of positioning issues? Was it because of your defenseman forgot that they had played defense and decided to go off on a change early and let 2-on-1s in? So goalie stats are really hard to. You can look at them and you can see yes, good, no, bad, but I think the eye test is the most valuable when you look there, because just because it went in, you have to find out why it went in. Like look at Frederick Anderson. You argued that he didn't play that good in the playoffs, but if you looked at his stats, oh my God, he was one of the best goalies in the playoffs.
No, it wasn't.
From the eye test.
It's a great team that is in front of him now. A great goaltender friendly team that doesn't allow a lot of shots, which Edmonton's going to have fun with there in Edmonton, I think. But let's face it though. Hellebuyck is a guy that you know, and that's always nice to have. Luukkonen, I'm not saying he's a bad goaltender, but I mean, is he ever going to be Hellebuyck level? I don't think so. I mean, that you're getting an instant top 3, top 4 goaltender behind that system, behind that team. He's going to give you a much better chance to win most of the time. But as people say, you only need a goaltender to get hot at one time, and I get that. But it's nice to have a goaltender that's pretty much hot all the time. Then you don't need to worry about whether he's going to be hot at a time, right? So, your Vasilevskis, your Hellebuycks and stuff like that. The analytics group that I'm actually part of quite a bit, except one thing we don't agree on is spending on goaltending. If I'm Carolina, right now with the cap space they have, screw your 4% for a goal. I know you won a cup like that. But if you got Hellebuyck, like if you won a cup with Anderson, isn't there a much better chance you're going to win a cup with Hellebuyck, especially with all the cap space they have? I mean, yep. you give Hellebuyck 22 shots a game and see how he turns out at the end. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it if I'm Carolina, but they seem to just have this. They're not going to pay for goaltenders, and that's it. My thing with Winnipeg that really we got somebody. Hellebuyck is good as gone. Is HD. That's not okay. I would assume one of Quinn and McLeod is involved. Okay, cool. Thanks. Sorry, I just turned the chat on. Didn't see that. Thanks.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. Forgot.
I just saw it. I'll post it up here. Yeah, I mean that's what they're saying. I assume one of Quinn McLeod is involved as the present piece, plus first and a prospect of the quality of Murtka. Yeah, I mean, Hellebuyck should get more than that, but
I don't think Winnipeg is really looking at draft picks. I think they need players to fill.
They would like to, but this is what I was going to get to when I was getting to this. You only got 1, maybe 2 teams.
Yeah.
No matter how good Hollebuck is, if I'm Buffalo, I don't need to give the bag. I can see how you guys do with a just not really satisfied Hollebuck to start the year. It depends. I can test the waters and see how much you really need to move on from him. How much is he behind the scenes saying, "Look, I don't want to play." I know one thing: you don't go get a guy. What do you pay $3.5 million for Skinner when you already got an $8.5 million goaltender? If you're 100% confident you're going to have Hollebuck next year.
What
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say Winnipeg would love. He said Winnipeg would love present pieces, but Buffalo isn't going to do that. I don't know. Like Buffalo, they have a lot of prospects, a lot of players that they might even, I'd say, have a few in the minors that are ready to get in the NHL here too. So, because how many years has Buffalo been rebuilding for? Like over 10. So, like the amount of prospects in and out, like they do have deep prospect pool, whether it's grade A or not really, but there's some B prospects that I think that could pop, and I'd rather take chance on 2 or 3 B prospects than a first round pick at this point, because one, they're closer to being ready, and two, if they're getting a chance to play in the NHL, Winnipeg could do that. Where Buffalo's just full of players right now. Like I haven't looked at the roster after the last thing here, so
I don't
like
think. Oh, he didn't mention it. I don't think they're doing it without Luukkonen involved.
no, yeah, they want
Luukkonen's
Luukkonen
got to
back,
be
yeah,
involved.
and it makes
If
sense.
it's Luukkonen, McLeod, and a first or Mertka, I think they just got to do it. And I hate to say it, but I just
Luukkonen,
if they
Merca,
need to get rid of it, if they need to get rid of somebody right now.
yeah,
The first you can use for another player at the deadline. That draft next year is pretty thick, so you might be able to get a player at the deadline for that. Plus, they have some pretty. Most of their prospects are up now though. Kulich, uh, Alsland, Helenus. I think that's their three main, and I don't
yeah.
think
Helenius is the guy I'm like saying is right in that point where he could be on the team this year, but he's probably not going to make it just because of the one ways they have.
I agree with HT here again. I'm pretty sure at this point, anyways, unless something
Yeah,
crazy happens, I don't see a Helenus and Osland being part of it. They just can't. Unless something major happens and things shift in the goaltending market, there's just no reason to give up those two pieces. I can't see it. There's not enough competition out there. It's just
I don't think.
unfortunate that New Jersey and Carolina are the two teams that maybe have the cap room and need. So they don't like to
Yeah,
spend on goaltenders.
I don't think I think Hellebuck could 100% return to Winnipeg this year without being traded. I don't think that's something that's for sure off the table. Like, yes, he wants to go somewhere, but I think he would be still comfortable coming back to Winnipeg for now until
I
something
don't,
else changes.
I don't know.
I
He was pretty
he's not
pissed
he
at the end of the year. I don't know how much he's calmed down or what. I don't know.
he's competitive. He just won a gold medal, and when you get that feeling of winning something, he's like, "Damn, I want that." And then you end the year the way you did, like you should be pissed. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be in the playoffs again this year because our
Oh,
team
that's
was.
right. HT brought up another good point. Sorry to stomp on you there. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Luukkonen probably. I don't even think he'll waive. So you might not be able to get Luukkonen.
Oh, is he got a full no trade?
No, but he has. When it
Five
comes
team
to
no trade.
Winnipeg and any team no trade is it's almost like a full team. That's all right. And from what I thought I heard something about he wouldn't waive. So
If Winnipeg's on that list, that'd be kind of a shock. You'd think that'd be kind of a shocking thing to put Winnipeg on your list, though,
why?
because when he signed that, like, I guess maybe if you, depending when you submit your list, you're like, because when you look at that, if you have 5 teams, you can say you don't want to waive to. You're just like, well, Winnipeg has Connor Hellebuyck, so they're not going to want to trade for me. So why would I put him on my list? It wouldn't make no sense. So
I
if
think
his list
people
is
just
July
have this
1st,
bias about Winnipeg. It's just gotten out there, and I think it's just they're on the. It's like 48% of the on the no trade list teams out there, so it's like a 50-50 split.
yeah, but like in his situation, if he's a goalie and he's going to be traded, like if you had to pick 5 teams in the NHL, you have to think about it. You're going to look at the teams right away that have probably the 5 best goalies in the NHL, right? Why would I put them on my list? They already have one of the best goalies in the league. Well, I'm probably not getting traded there, so I don't have to worry.
If you really don't want to be traded, but if somewhere down deep you kind of wouldn't mind being traded, that's a different thing altogether. It all depends. You know. So what I was listening to, I can't remember what podcast that was, but they basically it was all NHL players, and I think it was Spit and Chicklets where they said when it comes to players, pretty much the way it goes, if you got a 12 team, you take all 7 Canadian teams besides maybe one if you're from there, and then you go from there. So
Yeah,
that's what
players
they
have said it
say.
all the time.
It's just terrible. But it doesn't bode it that doesn't work with what I've seen for on the Athletic and stuff. They have had teams with the highest on the trade list, and a lot of not it wasn't that big of a difference. Like maybe Toronto's at 7 and some other teams at 5, but
Yep.
not that big. So I don't know. I don't know what it's all about.
Yeah. No, like when I watched some of the Centers podcasts, Mark Mathot said, yeah, our teams usually had a 10 or 12 or players had a 10 or 12 no trade clause, and you put the Canadian teams on, you put the California teams on, and you put the New York teams on there. That's what you do. Whereas the highest state tax, because you're like, if I have to get traded, I better at least be getting paid. That's what he said. That's what they're in their mind is like, unless you absolutely hate somebody, it's like, okay, who has the highest state tax?
Yeah, but
Because
New
if
York
I'm gonna go,
Rangers don't seem to have that problem, though.
no, but like Mark Mathot said, like when he got traded, he was like, oh frick, I could go anywhere at this point. I don't know. And he's like, it's like I was hoping not for New York, any New York State or California. And he's like, I was glad it was at least he didn't have the Canadian teams on his no trade list, but he was just talking about how he's like, I just don't want to go somewhere where state tax is like 50%, like New Jersey and the Rangers and Islanders. So he says those are the teams that you want to make sure you're protected against unless you want to waive to go there.
Unless you want to be there.
Because imagine if you're making 1.5 million or something, or I think he was making 3 million in there, and you go to New York. Now you're making 1.5. That's not including your agent fees or anything like that, too. So now you have a 3-year, $3 million contract, and after agent fees, you're making $1 million after taxes. Where if
Yeah.
you get traded to a Florida, oh, it's making 2.5 or 2 million still. Makes a big difference. And if you don't have any control on that, then
yeah, I know that there's lots of theories behind that, and then there's like Russ Cohen, who comes on our show on Puck and Deep all the time, that said that he believes it's more to do with the fact that you're living more in a bubble and there's more media and there's more people that know that you don't have the privacy. That he says that. So
some players for sure.
They say the money, but really the real problem is that. So he's got more insight than I do because I mean he's been around a reporter for a long time and he does shows like for everybody, right? So
look at Nikolai Ehlers. Like that's probably the reason why I went to Carolina. It's like
he actually pretty much said that. He actually made it public. Yeah.
Players all have their own reason, but when it comes to those no trade clause, I think a lot of it is I don't want to go somewhere where I'm going to make half a paycheck and be forced to do it, especially on a long-term deal.
I think that's a majority case, and then there's certain minority cases where it's not like that. Like New York, it seems like people don't mind paying the taxes to go to New York. The Rangers, Long Island, maybe not so much, but New York, I mean, that's where all the fun is, dude. when you people will pay for fun. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, imagine if his Mike Commodore was still playing. He's like, I only need a one team no trade list. That's whatever fucking team Babcock's playing. That's what
Yeah. So he's like his life. It's been his life work to slam Babcock's whole career. He's actually made himself a social media person on his hate for his hate for Babcock. Like he was mad that Babcock came back, and I was thinking to myself, dude, you're back again. You get to have you're gonna be all over social media now.
I love Mike Commodore. If anybody's not checked out his videos and that, you have to. It's just hilarious. Just
Yeah,
because
I mean,
Mike Babcock just followed his whole career and he got so pissed over
yeah,
his career. He's like started in Anaheim and then he's like nobody wanted him as a UFA and he's like Babs wants to come to Detroit and he's like, are you sure he wants me to come there? He's like, yeah. He's like, he wants you to sign there.
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
sure? Okay, I'll sign. And they got benched and all this. He's like, oh, fuck, here we go again.
Yeah, it's yeah, you do got to check it out. Yeah, I mean, he's a character, all right, no doubt about that. I'll listen to him just for his, not just for, but I don't agree with all of his takes, and that's fine. The thing I like about him is got an opinion. Whether I agree with that opinion or not, to me, doesn't matter. I can't stand listening to people that don't have one. That just kind of blah blah blah. Could be this. No, tell me what you think.
Yeah.
He tells you what you think. Him and Rhett Warner and the other guys he has on there, I like those guys. All right, so Philadelphia. You brought it up. You said the price for Zegras is going to go up after their offer sheet for Carlson, and maybe it did, maybe it didn't. What do you think? Do you think that mattered as much for with Carlson? Did that bump him up $1 million or so? I mean,
Oh yeah.
I think it wasn't a bad contract for him, really. Honestly, long term, there's not much trade protection, and
Yeah, no, like very good deal. Like anything under 10 was probably not expected at this point. So you get 9.1 on 4 years, but I understand if you just look at it, it's like it puts him to 29 and then he can sign the bag at that point when he's a UFA, whether it's in Philly or somewhere else, get his 8-year deal and get max money on it. So he set himself up for that. But yeah, you can't. I think it's a good deal for both sides. He's at 9.1. He gets probably a more like if before that Carlson thing happened, I don't think he's getting 9.1. I think he is getting closer to 7 to 8. So I think it did bring it up a little bit. And Philly's like, okay, let's just get it done and move on, because that's what the new normal is going to be at this point. So 9.1 percentage of the cap wise, it's pretty close to, if you were counting it 2 years ago, around 6 or 7. So yeah, good deal.
Yeah, and he brought his game to another level there with Tocchet. I never thought I would ever say that Zegras would have a big bump in his overall game and game away from the puck and defensive game. He did really well. It's not just offense he brings now. He brings a full game. Seems like he really matured. Seems like he loves Philadelphia. And like not just physically, but matured. Like he really did. You can see him growing into being a man here now. And I think they caught him at a good time. And he's a really good player. I don't mind the $9 million. I think they did a good job there. Obviously they're not. I wondered maybe if a little bit on the back of his mind said, "Wait a second, am I not the number one center?" But it doesn't looks like he took it all well. I'm sure they talked to him before they made the deal. Most players are just happy that you're going to be able to get more good players on their team, anyways. Any well-adjusted players, anyway, should just be happy they're going to get could possibly get really good players on their team. So I don't think he was too worried about that. I like his game now. I mean, when I had my doubts in Anaheim, and on the same note, when it comes to Anaheim, there's been a couple players You know, Drysdale didn't really develop well. We talked about this before. Zegras didn't seem to develop all that great there. McTavish didn't. We'll see how he did in St. Louis, where other teams seem to develop really well. So it's kind of odd that way. But Zegras definitely developed well in Philadelphia, or at least last year he did. Hopefully he takes it to another level. He's only 25. He's got room to grow. He's got more character to get. He can still fill out his game in a lot of ways. And I thought he played well in the playoffs too. And yeah, they died against Carolina, but you're going up against a rested
Yeah.
Carolina team. I mean, geez, that's a tough. Obviously, they made it. They made you help. They made you realize a rested Carolina team is one damn good team. So I think he's going to be fine. Drysdale now, interesting. He does. He is a number 2, and he is young, and he's a fairly average, above average to above average number 2. It wouldn't be shocking for me if he asked for 8 when you got some of the guys that are getting 8 out there. I mean, they haven't even did anything yet, and he's been around for a while. So I don't know. I think he might be able to pull 8 there
or more.
Or more, maybe. It's hard to judge right now, isn't it, Larry?
It is.
Where do you
think about that too? Bo Byron was signing his big contract too, so he's like, oh, if he's worth that, I'm just a step below him, so maybe I'm worth 10 then. Maybe I'm worth 9. So I think that might be one thing that's kind of stalled this too. It's like, hey, we got another comparable here we can use now and bump the price up, and obviously Philly doesn't agree.
They're going to arbitration now. So, well, I mean, they have an opportunity to go to arbitration unless they work out a deal beforehand. So it used to be I was fairly confident I could stamp a number on players, but the way the fluctuation is, the way of course, getting some of these offer sheets and big numbers going to players, and I'm not a capologist, so the only thing I know about caps is teams will eventually run out of cap. That's all I know. That is for sure. It's going to happen. But 8 or 9, I say somewhere between 8 and 9. I'm going to throw that out there and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer to 9, I'd say, on a long-term deal. If he wants to sign long-term, I don't know. Maybe he does something what Zegras did and just gets him to UFA, maybe like a bridge deal. Sign a little bit less, but give me that bridge deal so then I can control my destiny at the end, whether I want to re-sign with you or go somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got Doc. We'll go to the minor ones. Doc just gets a 1-year deal before he goes to ARB at 3.25. Not very confident play by Montreal. I'm sure Doc's kind of scratching his head a little bit, but honestly, Doc is a guy that before that injury, when he was in Chicago, I thought, Doc, this guy's going to be something. I really thought he would be, but he just hasn't seemed to be able to recover from that injury. You see moments where it's like, there it is. And then it's like, not so much after that. He's really confidence, or just the injury itself has caused physical limitations, or what it is. I'm not 100% sure. At this point, I don't think he should be getting much more than the 3.25 right now. Maybe if you got 4, I mean, you got guys like Sissons getting 4, so I wouldn't blame him for that. I think he's better than Sissons. So, but 1 year, I think that takes him to free agency too, does it?
I don't know if it will, actually. Let me see. Maybe.
I can't.
It might be one more. Kirby, yeah, it does, because he'd be 26.
Right. So they're
he's played every year in the NHL. Right. So you should have enough games, yeah.
So this is the year for him. You put him in a situation where he's got to hopefully put it all together here. What do you think about that contract?
Good. Like, he's probably happy to get $3 million after the years he's had in Montreal. Like, I'm 100% sure like they were trying to trade him. Like, I don't think that's kind of a secret. They're like, hey, like, let's package him for something and let's get a top 6 forward here, because we already have Philip Deneau, and we got Nick Suzuki, and we have New Hook that plays center, and Evans. Like, they do have 4 centermen that are capable, because Doc was hurt most of the time, so, or wasn't playing good. So we could get rid of him, get him a good winger, but obviously that didn't happen. So you have to sign him. So good move for Montreal, because now it's basically his do or die season. If you don't have a good season here, you're not getting next to nothing for offers from anybody else. So if it plays good, Montreal's, and he plays like his NHL career is on the line, he's going to have a good year this year. If not, walk him to UFA.
He can bump his game up a little bit. At least he gets some trade value and maybe moves to a team where he gets a better opportunity too. So, well, I had a perfect segue when we were talking about Hellebuck that I didn't use at all. Forgot all about it, but it is kind of a segue because at least we're talking about contracts. Cole Perfetti, 6 point something. That's
6.75. Wasn't that was? It's a higher cap hit, but, or no, sorry, 6 million for him. Sorry, we're thinking
6 million.
Yeah, 6 million for him. Hey, like, if Perfetti had a bad year, but man, like, that contract could look really good in a couple of years if he keeps progressing.
See, I can't put my finger on what happened last year. It's just playing with Taves, maybe. Taves was not very good, so he didn't.
Taves was terrible in the first half. In the second half, he was actually pretty good. So I'd say Taves in the second half is the one that he needed to play with more than the first half. Where
he was playing against lower competition in the second half because he just couldn't do it anymore. Like, and then, but who is he playing with this year?
They don't have a second line center.
Exactly.
So I'm guessing it's going to be who's the guy they just drafted this year?
Oh yeah,
right. Bjork. Bjork is he is
committed
give him
a shot there.
He's committed to North America this year, he said. So
I know he is, but I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying he can play now. He's a pretty small guy. I just am always a little bit iffy when you're talking about players playing right at 18 years old. Maybe he's like what Kindle in Pittsburgh. You know, maybe they got a guy like that that can handle it, playing center duty right away. But I mean, at this point, do they have a choice? That Lambert kid doesn't look like. I don't know if he'll ever be ready, and can't play Lowry up there for too long.
One thing I give to Bjork is he played in the SHL last year, so he played 42 games there. So it's not like it's a kids league; like, he played against men.
Yeah,
6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. So not amazing numbers, but
it's not quite as
play.
physical as the NHL.
Not as physical, but he could play the game. So he'll give a shot. He's going to get the first 10 games or 9 games, I think, in the NHL. Why not?
Yeah,
give him the shot, because I think he's still under contract in Sweden, so he'd have in the SHL. He'd have to go back because they honor the contracts there. So if he didn't make the NHL, he has to go back, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
he has the ability to go to the NHL.
I hope he knocks it out of the park. I got it.
I do too.
I got a soft spot for Winnipeg, man. I always will. I'm always rooting for Winnipeg. Great fans, great people, deserve better fate than they have. Really, anybody. I know all the people in NHL land is listening right now. Don't let everybody tell you that. Yeah, it's cold, but come on, it's a great place to live. So, but that's just the way it is in the NHL right now, and it's too bad. I hope he bounces back, Perfetti, and I think a lot of it had to do with he just didn't have much to work with last year. He had to take a bump up, and it didn't work out. All right, we'll go back to the bigs. They just won't let this go this summer. They just won't let the story go. It's going to go all summer long. Maybe I have my theories. Like I said, I did my own quick live thing, and we talked about it on Puck and Deep. Go check out the Puck and Deep. But Stevie Yzerman
Was
stepped
fired.
down, let go, fired, which
He was
obviously
fired.
you say he
He's
was fired.
fired. I think that
Uh,
the writing's on the wall there.
yeah.
He just gets the respect because he's a Detroit alumni. We're just gonna move you to a different position. Can't kick him out the door.
What kind? Okay. Yeah. A different position. He was the assistant something beforehand. He lost both of the positions and they gave them senior advisor. My dad used to say a senior advisor is an old person with a lot of opinions nobody cares about.
Yeah, he's like the assistant to the president, isn't he, or something
He
like that?
was. They got rid of it. He
Oh
lost, he
no, I
lost
thought
both of those. He got senior advisor. That's what he's got. Senior advisor.
that's what his role is. I thought it was
Yeah.
like
No, he went. I read it again. Make sure I'm right here. I have a tendency to be wrong. But he was
I thought he was president
he
and
was
GM.
assistant something to the president and the general manager. They removed both of those roles and made him senior advisor.
Senior advisor to the team CEO and Governor Chris Illich. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, senior advisor, yeah.
to the team CEO too.
Well, he was
Not even.
executive vice president of Detroit Red Wings. That's what he was before.
Yeah, that's what he was before. Now he's the senior advisor to the CEO. That's not even a hockey related.
He gets the CEO coffee now.
He gets to go golfing a lot. That's what he gets to do. Yeah. So I posted a Twitter that said, "Okay, Stevie, I got an idea. How about this? We're gonna fire you. We're gonna make it look like we fired you from being a general manager and an executive assistant. We're gonna give you a title that has nothing to do with hockey whatsoever, and but you can still be running the team. We're gonna pretend." Okay, okay. And Stevie Y said,
You're gonna give him the controller that's not plugged into the console while
"Can
you're
I help?"
playing, right?
Oh, so I have the same desk then? He goes, "Well, if you want it, we'll send it to your house." Yeah, if you want the desk, we can get a different desk. That's fine. If you like that desk a lot, uh, that's pretty much what I think kind of went here. And now the question, and I already said my piece a lot on it, but I'll probably say more. Do they go a different direction now? Is this okay? The plan's not working. Do you think, Larry?
Depends who they bring in. So they're on the search right now. So I was told, I think the assistant GM took over for now. I don't think he has any power to make any trades unless it's approved by CEO and president and owners at this point. So I think they got to figure out their GM first and go from there, because I don't think they're gonna. I think this stalls the Larkin trades at this point. Larkin trade to anywhere until they figure out their new GM, and that GM's got to talk to Larkin, say, "Hey, here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do." So Detroit's got to swing at somebody, a GM that he respects, and maybe get him to stay, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to get away from Yzerman at this point, right? So that's gone now. So now, if you could bring in a GM that maybe will give you that direction that you're looking for, maybe he'll hold on for a couple more years and say, "Okay, I have a 2-year plan, and we'll get you to the cup, or get you to the playoffs, and we'll get you to the, and we'll add on and see if we can get you to maybe not a Stanley Cup in 2 years, but maybe we'll get you into the second, third round or something like that." But it depends on the GM. There's nobody really out there, so I don't know.
I
That's
think
the problem.
I think it depends. I think Illich has made that decision. We had an idea, we had a plan, and it was a cool plan. Ain't working. It's not. We can't go any further with this. It just,
Yeah.
for whatever reasons, it's not moving fast enough. Sound like a really good idea, but it's time to move on. The next general manager, they're not going to be saying, "How would you run the team?" They're going to be saying, "This is the direction we got to go. Are you behind it or not?" That's what they're saying. And how are you going to go about doing it? is this something that resonates with you? And then I do think that general manager, whether it be internal or not, they might have an internal guy there that they already know is not really was that type of guy.
Yeah.
They already knew that. And he was there. Like, if people have different philosophies in organizations, for sure. And, if that is the case, and Larkin knows that's the case, that guy is like that, because you probably know him better, right? Then Larkin, then they go, hey, Lark's what I think. You know what I'm like. I wasn't totally on the page with Stevie on this and all that kind of stuff like that. Let's go out there. Give me some time here. We're gonna make the roster better. We're gonna look at trading draft picks. We're gonna get some players in here, and it's time to move. Yeah, you do that, and I think Larkin stays, because I've said the whole time that I don't think Larkin ever wanted to leave Michigan and Detroit. Him and his family love it there. The problem was that he couldn't do this professionally any longer, this direction, and that was a very difficult decision for him. So I think he'd be happy. Now the next question is I get most of this would be Detroit fans saying, you quit on the team, you quit on that. And, shut up. I'm sorry. There's not a player in that room that wouldn't be very happy for Larkin to come back. Nobody thinks Larkin quit on the freaking team in that room.
If you want to look at an example of somebody quitting on the team, that's Brady Tkachuk. That's not Dylan Larkin. When you ask for a trade and get that guy out of there because you don't want to be there, it's not that he doesn't want to be there. He wants to win.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, with Brady Tkachuk, he's not saying I don't like the direction of the team as much as I just want to go somewhere else. That's pretty much it. And the worst part about it, and I love Tkachuks and I love all that. I love them, but the worst part about it is he's unfortunately trying to make it look like that wasn't the case, and that makes him look even worse.
Yeah, and I feel like in 5 years when we look at this, it's going to be like you're going to remember Matthew and his tag along brother Brady, because I don't think he's going to be his own thing in Florida. That's the problem, but we'll see. I could be wrong.
Yeah, this is going to be pinned on a Yzerman, Larkin versus Yzerman. And maybe sort of it does, but it's more Yzerman philosophy versus Larkin's career goals. I think that's more to do with it.
I saw stories going out there that apparently this whole beef between Yzerman and Larkin was because he was named captain for a whole year. Because when Zetterberg, I don't know if I buy it too, because Zetterberg retired, Yzerman took a year after what took over as GM. So this is a year after Zetterberg retired.
I think that's just a bunch of media guys trying to paint Larkin as more of a villain. That's really all.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't think that would be a 8-year beef or a 6-year beef because you didn't get named captain for a whole year.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That's why I was going to say, I would see your take on it. I'm like, I didn't agree with it either.
If Larkin decided to move on here, said that I'm willing to move on, but kind of pigeonholed Stevie Y the way he did, they bring in a new general manager and go another direction, and they start wanting to win now, you think they're going to not like Larkin when he comes back? They're going to love him. He's going to look like a freaking hero, man. He was willing to stand up for us, and we didn't have to rebuild for the next 7 years. Yeah, I think there's more in that room like Larkin than people know. It's just Larkin was the captain and had the balls to say something about it. I mean, when they didn't add that 2 years ago, then he forced Stevie Y. I don't know if it forced, but Stevie Y probably went by his word and said, if you're in a playoff spot next year, I'll add. Not a good idea, because then you end up kind of removing leverage from yourself, and you get Fulks for a first, which was not a good trade. But anyways, all falls down. If that's the case, I think it'll be fine. There'll be fans mad. There's people that still want to slather people for wanting to do good for their lives and go up against management. We're all supposed to just be good little boys and don't say anything and just take all the crap because I'm getting paid by someone and I should just shut up and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm on both ends of the fence here. I don't buy that either. I think you should be able to, after there should be a line where you can say, okay, enough is enough. All right. And I don't want to move my family, and I'm a little upset about the way things have gone here. And it's really tough for me. And it's really tough for him to be upfront about it. But I think that's really where he is.
Yeah. When the playoff push was happening this year, I did watch a few extra Detroit games because I was watching the standings, watching the games happen. I'm almost certain that Larkin, when he came back against the Ottawa game, he didn't look like he was 100% healthy at all. I think he came back to try and give him every chance to make the playoffs. That's a guy that didn't quit on your team. He wanted to get you across that finish line, get you to the playoffs. He just couldn't do it because he was not 100%. So when you're the players in the room and you watch your captain come back, who should probably not be playing right now, and try to make that push for you, I don't think the players hate him at all. I think the players are like, we want that guy back.
You could
100%.
be right. I never heard anything about injury with him. I did about Raymond, though. Raymond was hurt all year.
Yeah, when that game was happening, we were like, oh, is Dylan Larkin gonna play? Like, just came out of nowhere. They're like, oh, Dylan Larkin's now from listed game time decision from like probably not going to play for the rest of the year. Like, what's going on? Like, they thought he was out for the rest of the year, and then next thing it's like, oh no, he's a game time decision now. Oh, he's playing. And we're like, what the heck? It was like shock that Larkin was playing that game. And when you watch him play, and then I was watching some of the last few games, and yeah, Dylan Larkin was really slow out there. So I think it's a lower body injury, but he gave it his all. So I respect players that do that.
And Detroit's fallen off a couple of years, and so has Yzerman. Well, really, when you look at that roster, every team knows you take Larkin out, you take that a lot of that team out. Raymond's amazing. I love Raymond. Like, he's a fantastic elite winger, no doubt about it. But for the most part, if you took Larkin out, you got Kopp down there. You know, it's not that, it hasn't been that deep of a team the whole time he's been there, so they can target the crap out of him. And I think he has been targeted. And yeah, he's fallen off. And I wouldn't doubt if he's kind of got, I'm getting 30 now. I don't know if I can handle being targeted like this every single game for 82.
If the team was deep, he wouldn't have had to come back and they would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, like, and that's why he's pissed, because Steve Yzerman didn't go out and get that top 6 forward they needed. They got Justin Falk instead.
I know, and I've tried to be a Yzerman sympathizer along the way here. When you are rebuilding, this is another reason why owners don't want to rebuild, is it's hard to get players that when you want to go the other direction. Because, like, once you haven't made the playoffs for 7 years, not too many players want to go give it a shot, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of gave it to that. You know, I've been kind of giving Yzerman a little bit of sympathy along the way. But, you know, their top draft picks were excellent. And then they didn't get much after that. Like their second round, third round, fourth round picks, they were missing a lot on. And the filler players they brought in, like Sherratt and stuff, are not guys that on the ice you want to set an example for what the players want to be. Off the ice, apparently they're fantastic, and that's always good. But he made an attempt. I don't want to. When it comes right down to it, Stevie Yzerman was my idol, and I don't usually use emotions with when it comes to hockey at all. Like, I try to ignore all of it, but Stevie Yzerman is the one player that I just like was goo gaga over when I was a kid. You know, he was I loved him. And
Steve Yzerman, and Nick Lidstrom and Henrik. And then you had Datsuk and Zetterberg behind him. Like, Detroit, like he groomed like the next generation. Like, great player, GM in Tampa Bay. He was really good as a GM. Like, he did build that team, and I feel bad because he didn't get to finish it off. Because
wonder though? I've always wondered in Tampa, Breezeball was always behind him there, and. Sometimes
It could be. I might, because you have this flip side now in Detroit, what he did. So maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't him pulling the strings, but
I mean, he's pulling them, but he had a lot of people behind him there. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe they got to look at the whole structure there. Maybe he didn't like. He, general managers don't go out and say, "I'm taking that guy." General managers, as far as scouting is concerned, they generally will tell you they trust their scouts. That's what they do. So, maybe there's some scouting stuff they need to look at, or just a lot of different areas maybe they have to look at. And Stevie Yzerman's kind of old school. Maybe they got to get somebody a little more progressive there.
has Detroit's scouting staff changed a lot over the years? I thought it was still the
I'm not
main guys
sure.
there.
I'd have to look
Because
at
how many times Detroit had to pick between 28 and 30, and they'd always find that one good player, it seemed, all the time.
They did for a while, and then in the Holland years, they started falling off even at that, though. They really did start taking some guys that weren't making it. It was just so I don't know if that was a scouting change or maybe
Yeah, I don't know what the
I,
scouts look
I
like
don't know.
now, but they did a hell of a job 15 years ago. So
But their top picks were it was so weird because they lost the lottery, but quite a few of those lotteries on their top picks, they got the best player or close to it. Like Sider was a great pick, and Edvinson was an excellent pick, and Raymond was a very good pick in that draft. He was excellent. And then they just couldn't get the support players down on the second and third, fourth line, or second, third, and fourth. They got Finney in the seventh, Soderblom once in the sixth. Besides that, there hasn't been anybody on that roster that's been successful. They got a couple guys that look like they could be good, but they've been saying that for a while. Plant looks like he could be good. Goldberg or something like that from San Jose. I was just the only reason why I'm remembering this is I was just looking at it. He looked like he had some pretty good numbers in Sweden, but
Marco Casper, that's one.
But was he a second? Or
I don't know
I thought he
when he
was
was
a first.
drafted.
No, he was a first round pick.
Yeah, I like his game. Like last year, he took a good step.
Last year he had a sophomore slump, Casper.
Well, kind of, but like I would say more or less like in that second half, I noticed him a lot. Like he went to the net more, and you could see him kind of figuring out the NHL more. Like I don't know what his points are. Yeah, I would say there's probably a bit of a down year.
I think
Was,
Casper's going to be fine. I think he's going to have a rebound.
yeah,
Sophomore
just
slumps.
the eye test though, he was going in the right areas. He was doing the right things. So
do you know what usually happens, especially with these later firsts? Like watch it with Kindle too in Pittsburgh. Like you're going in with all this nervous young energy, and you're just freaking giving her. But man, after that first season, the summer comes and your body's like, holy crap, is that tough? And you realize I got to get in way better physical condition, bulk up and everything. And they go bulk up, but then that takes away from their speed. They're not used to playing at that weight in sophomore, and everybody knows who you are now. So I think he'll grow into his body a little better, and Casper will do well in this third season.
That's the problem is you go balls to the walls and you go full out, and you could have a really good first year, but then everybody knows you. And then when they start putting on more attention to you, then now you're getting stopped left, right, center, and cut off, and they're giving you extra whacks, and then you're just like, okay, now I gotta figure out how to stop this, and then to stop that, now your production goes down, and now you're trying things outside your game, and now your game's gone to crap, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
When you take it slow and you're just like, oh, and watch everything around you and figure out it all out. And then when you want to go balls to the walls and know what to do, that's when you have those breakout seasons. And a guy like who's a good example? I'm trying to think of one recently that just did this year.
What, like after a sophomore slump, you mean?
No, like after a couple years, like of just like mediocre play, and then just put it all together.
Or kind of up and down. Zegras is a good example. But
Well,
he did move organizations, but I mean, he had his best year.
Matthew Knives. There's a guy that started off a little slow in Toronto first couple of years, and then he popped this year big time. Big guy, but he kind of like just gotta step back and watch all these guys how they handle it, and then I think then you can see a guy that he's popped this year now. Matthew Knives would be a good example. He went balls to the walls like Austin Matthews did. Like Austin Matthews is that good, but if he did that at the beginning, then he might not be where he is right now.
Yeah, I find that when guys sort of, especially when they're later first round picks and they surprisingly come on the scene quick, that's like they'll go really well that first year, And then all of a sudden now, when the opposition coaches are on the chalkboards, like Martone, Martone had a killer, after the Olympics, they brought him in after college. Coaches were looking at this Martone kid, and they're not like circling his name, saying, "Watch out for this kid." I mean, sure as shit next year, Martone's name is going to be circled. You got to watch out for this kid. So that's the test. And that's the test for him. I think personally, that's the kind of player that probably will still do well, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him. Everybody's going to know he's out there next year.
Another thing too is when you sign a 3-year entry level deal and you're a young player, you want to pop or make a big improvement in that third year so you can hit bank on your next one or on your bridge deal. A guy like that, now I'm thinking about that Easton Cowan, off to kind of a slow career. He killed it in London, but in the NHL he hasn't done much. But sitting and watching, he's got to sit and watch kind of things and how it's done. You got a guy like Tavares in the room. It's like, hey man, like I get it. You want to come out here, you want to show off and go balls to the walls, but I'm telling you, you need to learn the game first, and then take your time, and then when you get to that year 3, that's when you want to pop, and then you'll make the big money.
He's really solid for his age. He is really smart defensively and all over the ice. Like, I really like his game. If that was ever out there somewhere, if I'm a GM out there, I'm circling. I like that kid more than I thought I would, actually. But the more I watch him, I like that guy a lot. I like his whole game. I like everything. That's like a Carolina Hurricanes player or Florida Panthers player right there. I love that guy. You got to keep those guys. But yeah, he could pop this year. I could see him popping for sure. Yeah, but yeah, second year, even Bedard's and Celebrini's, and this is going to be Celebrini's second year as well, right? Right, like, or is it
third year?
This is third year. Wow, that was a sophomore slump. Never mind. He's just going to keep on going up, that guy.
Well, it's because they're a different breed of player. They can.
But I'm saying sometimes even these big players can have like dips in the second season. Even the big guys that were up in the top and come back. But Celebrini is probably a little more special than the average bear. That guy's insane.
He's probably a step below in hockey IQ, probably from like a Sidney Crosby. Like, the guy's smart on the ice.
He's up there with all those guys. However you want.
McDavid is super fast, but Celebrini thinks the game like nobody else does. Like, when I watched a preseason game here in Winnipeg and he was playing, it's just like on the power play, like that guy never stopped moving in the zone. Like, he's shifting left and right and getting defensemen to move and open up lanes himself when he doesn't even have the puck. And I'm like, this is insane. Like,
and when I think there's more to his game yet too. There's that other side of his game, or a more complete full sheet game coming from him too. I've got him circled to taking over McDavid as the best player in the world. I've got him. I'm not calling him that yet, but
he hasn't earned it yet. But
yeah, There's certainly not me. I'm leaning towards you will. That's
Yeah.
how incredible that kid is. That is unbelievable.
Well,
Like
Connor Bedard was supposed to be really good, and he is good, but Malcolm Celebrini is definitely on a different level.
Bedard really, I'd love to see him be able to play with some actual players. Oh, come on, man. Like
That's one thing
seriously,
too. Yeah.
Teravainen, like man, get this guy
Like
some wingers.
Patrick Kane, just sign over there, play with the kid.
Yeah, there's
You know,
talk of it.
it's
There's
just like a
talk.
handoff. It's just like here, I've come back one more season, play with you. I'm gonna hand the team to you. You're the next Patrick Kane of this franchise for the
There's
next
talk
10,
of it.
15 years.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right, we'll leave it at an hour today. I think that's our full 42. Thank you all for coming in and listening. And we will see. I did a puck in deep just recently. You can don't forget swag, man. The guy's nailing baseball like crazy over there. You can get my winnable, get a whole season right now for $150. Whole season. It's like $12 a year. $12 a month, and you get the baseball as well. It's like peanuts. And I'm usually up 400 to 700 units, 7 years running, an average of 600 units per year. So yeah, you're just making nothing but money, and we're having fun. We'll be doing, don't forget, we will be back, Rico and Pearlo's House of Exotic NHL Picks Frolic, when the season started as well, which we'll be doing late night here. And check out Larry on his Twitter, Larry, SensFan_17, right?
Yeah, I don't really post too much on there. I use it to find all the stories because I always break on Twitter mostly. So
I
yeah.
forgot to post. Next time, remind me. I forgot to post the new commercial, new advertising for Jaime's
Oh,
Body. My God, it was so funny. I have to go check it out. I mean, it was so
oh, you
good.
did like it? Okay. I saw you laugh at it, but I wasn't sure.
No, I loved
There
it. Are you kidding me? It's fantastic. I have to check it out. I'll post it on my Twitter tonight. I'll post it on there. Everybody listening. Thanks for coming in. Thanks, Larry. Awesome having you like usual. I will talk to you later, everybody. Pearlo Dance for the Land. I haven't did that in a long time.